And these are sort of those hidden things that you experience every day, but you don't really think about it being toxic to your pet or, in many instances, to your family, the human.
Exactly, and I think that's just such a shocker. This first one really kind of floored me because everybody uses these. My mom has a lot of cats, and she especially loves them. Flea and tick collars.
Flea and tick collars are one of those things that you don't think about every day, but they do pose a hidden danger, particularly to those families that have toddlers or infants crawling around. You know, people that again are going to be touching the floor and the pet. And certainly, you know, I think that flea collars and tick collars have a place, but you really want to be careful and ask yourself, you know, is it really worth hanging a pesticide around your pet's, you know, neck every day?
I mean, that is what it is. Can you replace it with, like, Isabu gets just between the shoulder blades, she gets something squirted back there and it keeps the bugs off from her?
Some of the topicals are good, but I'll tell you, if you do have to use a chemical to control fleas in your house, the best thing is to use some of the newer oral preventives because they're going to have the safest ingredients.
So ask your vet about that, and if the animal ingests it, so it has to be safer because they're ingesting it.
Absolutely. But for other people, for most of us, if you use a simple flea comb, too often, you know, the easiest ways to prevent fleas we forget about. You know, we always want it in a collar or pill form or whatever. But comb your dog or cat regularly, frequently. Bathe them, you know, once or twice a week.
Izzy has doggy spa day once a week.
Yeah, so soaps will kill these fleas. And finally, make sure you clean their bedding because that's where those eggs are going to reside.
Yes, that's
and then they
such a
hatch
great
out.
tip.
It's a big problem.
And you forget. Up next, what's the deal? Why do we have a tray of Tic Tacs and
candy
chiclets
and gum?
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that people maybe haven't heard about yet. But we're all on diets. We're all trying to lose weight. So you go to these sugar substitutes. And one of the sugar substitutes that's very popular now is a substance called xylitol. It's in everything.
It's certainly in gums and stuff. I've seen it, you know, every time I pick up gum at the airport to keep your ears from popping.
And here's the problem. It is lethal to dogs. Highly toxic. I have seen cases in my own practice where these dogs come in, they've eaten a 20-pound dog. If a 20-pound dog eats
and dogs actually like the flavor of mint. This is not a ridiculous thing that they would take a piece.
They love sweet things. A 20-pound dog that eats that much of this gum is going to be in trouble. Now, if he eats a whole pack, big problems. Xylitol, for an unknown reason, we still haven't got this figured out. For dogs, it causes this crash in their blood sugar.
Wow.
And then if you don't get it treated immediately, they can go into a form of liver failure. And so if your dog gets into xylitol, if you think it gets into anything, and it's in all types of candies and cakes and gums and
mints,
everything, if you think it has, you've got about 30 minutes.
You know, keep your mints in your purse. No big deal. Just keep on top of it.
You bet.
All right, let's move along to the... Now, what's going on over here? We got plants. We got pills. What's up with this?
Here's one you don't often think about, and that is sunburn in pets. Not only can they get sunburn, but they can get skin cancers related to UV exposure. We see this in kitty cats. Think about those white cats. What do cats do all day long?
They rest in the sun.
On the windowsill, and they're being exposed to UV radiation.
Can you get that through a closed window? Like, is the sun affecting you if they're sitting in a window?
It can.
Wow.
Especially over a lifetime. And let's face it, we all go out on the porch with our kitty cats and dogs. I mean, you know, my dog Sandy wants to lay in and have her tan, you know, on her tummy.
Izzy wants her tummy.
And
she wants to get all this going.
Yeah, that's where there's no fur, there's no pigment, so that's where they're least protected, and that's where we see these problems.
Especially on short-haired dogs, right?
You bet. So short hair, or even they have skin allergies, they have thin hair, they maybe have hypothyroidism, so, you know, they have problems where they don't have as much hair, and of course everybody loves the Chinese crested hairless dogs, you know, the little tuft of and really,
so cute
those dogs have problems with this. So,
is Penny going to help us out with this?
I'd love to have Penny out here.
Penny, come on up here.
Come on, Penny. Hello. Hello.
Come here. I got you. I got you. All right. There we go.
So,
Penny, everybody, Penny.
And you know what? Hold her right there.
I'm going to hold her right here.
Here's the problem. She's got no fur here. This tummy is just asking to be toasted, right?
Naked Penny belly.
And I can tell you that Penny's going to want to lay outside and let it all hang out, which I don't blame her because, you know, in nice warm weather.
Because if you got it, flaunt it.
So, believe it or not, you need to put sunscreen on your dogs. If you're going to go out to the lake, which I know you like to do with Izzy in the summer, if you're going to be out there all day on the boat or just lounging around, you want to protect certain areas, particularly the ear tips, right, because there's not a lot of fur here, around the bridge of the nose, around the sides of the mouth. mouth, any place where there's not a lot of fur.
And all over their bellies.
Yeah, and all over. And here's what you want to look for is a sunscreen that protects against UVA and UVB, all right? So a lot of the baby sunscreens are great for dogs, but I've got one bit of advice.
Right.
Many times these sunscreens will have what we call octosalicylates, okay? And don't worry about that. If it sounds like salivate, don't use it in your cat.
Gotcha.
Because it can be toxic.